Inferno, Canto 4. Dante is roused from his slumber by a confused sound of lamentations which burst like thunder from the abyss. He follows his guide into limbo, the first circle of hell, where he finds the souls of those who, though they have lived virtuously and have not to answer for great sins, nevertheless, through lack of baptism, may not be admitted into paradise.
Broke the deep slumber in my brain, a hoarse and heavy thunder. Starting I awoke, and like to one who is aroused by force, and straightway rising up, around I turn my rested eye, and gaze with steadfast look, the place wherein I found me to discern. Beneath me lay in truth the veil of woe, in whose abyss eternal groans unite, and blend their thunders in the depth below. Obscure it was, so cloudy, deep, and dense, that though to pierce the gloom I strained in sight, naught could I see within the gulf immense. Now go we down to dusky regions blind, all pale the illustrious bard began to say, I lead the way, do thou pursue behind. Then I exclaimed of his pale looks aware, how shall I speed if thou dost feel dismay, thou who art wont to cheer me in despair? He answered me, the loud laments I hear from tortured souls beneath us on my face portray that pity thou mistakes for fear. But let us on, for we have far to go. Then passed we both within the circle's space, which first encompasses the veil of woe. No wailings there were audible, the sound of sighs alone was heard, convulsive sighs, that made the eternal air to tremble round. Yet from no torture this deep sorrow flowed, but neath the weight of mental agonies, men, women, children sighed, a countless crowd. Dost thou not wish, the master said, to know what spirits here their sad estate bewail? This understand ere thou proceed below. They sin not, but the good they may have wrought, for want of baptism is of no avail. A doctrine of the faith thou hast been taught. And if they lived ere Christ brought saving grace, to pay to God due worship they forbore, and I am one of this benign race. For these defects, and these defects alone, heaven have we lost, nor do we suffer more, than to desire when all our hopes are gone. Great sorrow at his words my soul o'ercame, and in this limbo knew I many a wight. Once high distinguished in the ranks of fame, tell me, my lord and master, I rejoined, that of the faith which error puts to flight a full assurance might possess my mind. Did spirit e'er go hence, who by his own or others' worth in after time was blessed? And he to whom my convert speech was known gave answer, I had lately reached this round, when lo, arrived a great and glorious guest, whose head with a victorious wreath was crowned. The soul of man's first parent hence he drew, Abel his son, and also Noah's shade, Moses the lawgiver, and just and true the patriarch Abraham, David, Israel, his father, and his sons that call beyond, obeyed. And Rachel fair, whose love he earned so well. For these and many others grace he gained. Know that till these with happiness were blessed, no human soul's salvation e'er attained. While thus he spoke, our journey we pursued, and onward through the shadowy wood we pressed. The wood of souls, I mean, so thick they stood. Not far had we descended from the height, when I observed a flame so brightly burn that it o'ercame the hemisphere of night. Though we were distant still some little space, a noble band I partly could discern, inhabited this ample dwelling place. O glory thou of science and of art, say who are these before me so renowned that from the vulgar throng they dwell apart? Then answered he, their honorable fame, which in your world continues to resound, gains grace in heaven, and here exalts their name. Meanwhile a voice exclaimed in lofty strain, "Let honor to the mighty Hod be paid. His shade that left us now returns again." Ceased had the voice, when in composed array for mighty shades approaching I surveyed. Nor joy nor sorrow did their looks betray. "Him," said the gracious master, "now admire, who in his hand a falchion doth uphold." Before the rest advancing as their sire, "Lo, this is Homer, bard who all surpassed. The next is Horace, satirist famed of old. Ovid the third, and Lucan is the last. And since to each appropriate is the name which their united voice assigned to me, in honoring me, to them redounds the fame. Assembled thus was offered to my sight the school of him, the prince of poetry, who eagle-like o'er others take his flight. When they together had conversed a while, they turned, saluting me with gracious sign, which from my master drew a friendly smile, and greater glory still they bade me share. Their honorable troop they made me join, the sixth united to such talent rare. Thus we proceeded till we reached the flame, speaking of things I may not now recall. However well they then the place became, ere long we reached a noble castle's base, 7 times surrounded by a lofty wall. A beauteous streamlet flowed around the place. And this we passed as though 'twere solid land. Through 7 fair gates I went with these the wise, and gained a verdant meadow, fresh and bland. Their souls I saw, whose grave and lofty mind spoke dignity. They slowly moved their eyes. Their words were sweet, but few and far between. Our steps aside we gently thence withdrew, and reached an opening, spacious, light, and high, where all became apparent to our view. There on the verdant and enamelled green were mighty spirits shown to me, whom I felt exaltation to have even seen. I saw Electra, and could recognize Hector, Aeneas, mid a numerous band, and mighty Caesar armed with griffin's eyes. Penthesilea and Camilla there I saw conspicuous on the other hand, and King Latinus with Lavinia fair, Brutus, who chased proud Tarquin from the throne, Lucretia, Julia, Marcia did I see, Cornelia, Saladin, apart alone. I saw, when higher I had raised my brow, amidst his philosophic family, seated the master of all those who know. All look on him, to him all homage pay. There Socrates and Plato near him stand, advanced in front of that august array. Mid these Democritus, Diogenes, Thales, and Anaxagoras I scanned, sage Heraclitus and Empedocles, with Orpheus, Zeno, and Hippocrates, Tullius and Linus, Seneca, and wise in nature's secrets, Dioscorides, Gallieno, Avicen, and more of note. Euclid and Ptolemy too met mine eyes, Averroes, who the learned comment wrote. I cannot now the names of more detail, spurred on to haste by all I fain would say. Full oft my pen must in description fail, the bend of 6 in twain divided there. My guide conducts me by another way, forth from the tranquil to the trembling air, and now I came where all in darkness lay.